The Last of Us Part 2 has finally made its way to PC. Now, this is a game which is very divisive, of course, because of the story choices made by Naughty Dog after the success of the story and characters of the first game. However, I'm one of its fans. I really like The Last of Us Part 2. I don't think the story is as good or as well told as it is as the first games, not at all. And although Abby doesn't offend me in any way as a character, I think it's just the way the story was structured which is the main issue. But I'm not going to go into that too much because, of course, it's all subjective. You either like it or you don't. Now, I like it, but that doesn't mean that everybody else should. Of course not. However, the true highlight of The Last of Us Part 2 is the gameplay and just the beauty of it alone. The story mode is very, very good. It's actually quite lengthy, and there's loads to collect and things to find and weapons to upgrade and just gameplay that's been massively improved over the first game. The combat and the kill animations are incredibly brutal and awesome and very satisfying, and you can actually go prone in The Last of Us Part 2 as well, so you can do some proper stealthing around. There's also some open world areas that you can get to as well. But one of the really cool things about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is the no-return roguelike mode, which is all the gameplay I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you anything from the story because, of course, I've had the game on PS4, I've got it on PS5, and now I've got the PC port, and I just really wanted to talk about the PC port as a port. And the no return mode is really, really cool, and so, it's just a game mode that I can infinitely play because it's just the solid and amazing gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2, but just put into a roguelike mode where you can play as multiple different characters from the main story, and you can unlock new weapon skins, new character skins that you can also use through the main story as well. There's many different multipliers. You fight all the different enemies from the main game. You can choose the path you want to take during your run. You can create custom runs. You earn resources to level up your character via supplements for skills, or of course gaining the necessary things to upgrade weapons as well, and you can also purchase new weapons and recipes that you can use then to craft new things, which is pretty cool. And again, just more of the awesome gameplay. But how is the port in itself? In all honesty, the port is fantastic. This is probably the best PC port I think Sony has ever made. I am getting consistently around 90 frames per second here with everything on nearly everything on very high, with the shadows and reflections turned down to medium. I am running a RTX 3060 12GB card. I've got a Ryzen 7 5900X or 5800X, one of those. The CPU, I have 32GB of RAM, and of course it's running on an SSD. And with those specs, the game runs flawlessly. I've had no issues whatsoever in several hours of playing the story and no return mode. And the game just of course I've got DLSS on, but the game still looks really good and plays fantastically. And also I'd like to point out as well that I put it on my Steam Deck. It's Steam Deck verified from day one, and I'm getting solid 40 frames per second with the game. It's all basically running on low. It has a Steam Deck setting, but because of the resolution being so small, the game still looks pretty good and is 100% playable, and awesome to have the no return mode portably on my Steam Deck. That is a definite win. If Sony and other people could make ports to PC as well as they have with The Last of Us Part 2 here in recent memory, then life would be good, because one of my biggest letdowns of the year was Monster Hunter Wilds. That game was so poorly optimized. It's horrific. It was worse than the Dragon's Dogma 2 that Capcom ported to PC. Good God, what is the matter? I think it's the RE engine. I know what it is. It's just absolutely abysmal. But here, with The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, both on PC now, these two games are worth grabbing. They are phenomenal. They are really good, and I highly advise you pick it up. Not necessarily at the full price. If you're very unsure, I'd wait for a sale, but if you've never played it before, if you can just block all the hate out of your mind and try it and judge it on your own opinion and your own merit, you may find that The Last of Us Part 2 could be, one of the best games you've ever played. Maybe. I'm not saying it will be. I'm just saying maybe it might. But it's definitely up there with me. It is definitely one of the best games I've ever played in terms of gameplay. I like the story. I just think it should have been structured a little differently, but I do really like it. It's not a happy story. It's a very brutal story and a very gritty and for the most part, true story to how humans would behave. But please let me know in the comments down below if you have played The Last of Us Part 2 or Part 1, or if you're interested in picking up, well, this port to the PC. It is great. I do highly recommend it, and I'm hoping we get The Last of Us Part 3 at some point in the near future, but we seem to have like 5 years between game sequels now, which is far too long. I mean, coming back from when I used to play games and we had a sequel to a game every year or year and a half, or 2 years max. This whole 4, 5, 6, 7 year gap between games is just too much. Far too much. But please let me know what you think down below, and as always, thank you very much for watching.